I'm ready to go.
Sweet. All right. Take it away, Seth.
So I have two for you. They're both untitled, so. Sing every song as though it's spiritual, but remind yourself that you don't have to sing every verse out loud, and sometimes it's more meaningful to keep warm verses to yourself, and seeing beauty or value in something is a choice. I can't wait for historians to read our conversations and try to interpret our relationship from them, and do we constantly run off on brief tangents of feeling and the drugs just make us more aware of it, and the trick to being cool is not to care. Because every boy I've ever known has assumed that I'm only sexy when I'm trying to be, and if you're sexy, you must be trying to be, and people tend to value you based on the things you tell them that you pay attention to, and every little thing you do is in reaction to the things you pay attention to, and people love you more if you pay attention to them, and it's not that hard to pay attention to them. Your only closeness is felt in sharing your self-awareness with someone else, and you enjoy your life more if you just stop thinking about it. But once you start thinking about it, you can't stop thinking about it, and intimacy means that you let them come to you sometimes instead of the other way around. The things you find in somebody's sofa cushions can sure tell you a lot about a person, and nobody ever does magic for free, and your innocence makes you believe that people do magic for free, and I never found my earring in your sofa. And sometimes you just feel so much of the world, or maybe sometimes part of the world just touches your heart so goddamn deeply that you just have to write it down, and you haven't written in months because you really just wish you didn't have to feel so much, and you only want to write that you only want to write so that something in the world feels permanent, and you don't want this feeling to be permanent, and the more you think about it, the more you can't stop thinking about it, and the less you think about it, the better you feel about it. It makes you sad that people can do things 7 years ago that still affect you, and people are always surprised when you tell them that something they did 8 years ago still affects you, and you want to believe that you can say things that will still affect people 9 years later, and how does it feel to know that somebody else has already written these words? You can make people love you by how much of your face you show, but you constantly feel like too much of your face is showing, and people value you based on how visible your scars are and how closely those scars resemble their own, but you think it's about how visible your bones are, but really, it's about how visible your soul is. And crumbling tape up in a ball and unraveling it from itself is not just something you do when you have nothing interesting to say at parties, but it's also a pretty clear metaphor for your life, and you have to focus your love and energy on somebody or else you'll lose them, and most people don't put enough love and energy into others, and you want to be somebody that puts love and energy into others, but nobody puts enough love and energy into you. Things that make you feel something stick with you the longest, and maybe the real tragedy in this world is that you think that you're special, and you're not special, and you've stuck with me the longest. Because there's no meaning in a shadow without light, and there's nothing romantic about staring at a ceiling fan that isn't spinning.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And I have just one more for you.
Awesome.
Okay. I am a creature with claws. My crooked jaw snaps and spit drips through jagged fangs that tear skin and crush bones. Flame burns fuel in my belly, shines sunbeams through slivers of sweet empty between my ribs. She flicks the flint and lights the wicks of both my eyes, drips wax down the slow eroded cheekbones. Joints crack under pressure of tendons stretched by clenched fists, armed with arms, loaded and locked. I am not silent. I do not hide. I am not afraid. Shoulders hunched at jagged angles, head shaven sharp, whirring gears inside the skull, releasing steam from pipes behind my teeth. Smoke escapes the gaps in sequence as tongue slips across lips curled in a smile. Heart piecing together words and bits of words, lungs sipping smoke through smokestacks stacked along my spine, blood flashing electric through veins twisted like wire under sheets of metal skin. I am a creature with claws. I trudge heavy, weary, burdened, wounded, but unafraid.
Wow, wow, wow. So powerful. Really, I love your poems. I love how, like, what is the word that I'm looking for? This is why hosting is hard, because words are hard. It's very stream of conscious. It's very like if you were to come up and just like start saying one of your poems in a conversation to me, I'd be like, absolutely. Like I would be drawn in from the moment. So thank you so much, Sav. Always a pleasure.